You wanted to divide them. You wanted to separate us. So we look divided.
For years, we've been told that grassroots political movements are the future. Community activism, the way forward. Empowerment of working people, a necessity if we're going to get meaningful change. But now, thanks to globalism, one of the consequences of which appears to be mass migration, there are movements, new movements, that appear to be getting incredible traction. In my country, the UK, there was a massive march that seems to be a kind of Britain first, England first march. Let's together talk about this movement, its figurehead, Tommy Robinson, and work out, is this a movement that can change Britain, change British politics? And is it a movement that is motivated by love or hate? Because certainly the legacy media will tell you this, that these movements are hateful, that they are racist. Some of you might have seen Tommy Robinson on Jordan Peterson and heard his biographical take on why he has the feelings and experiences he's had coming out of Luton, with its complexity and with the challenges that have come with a community that houses both white English, black English and Muslim people. It's an interesting story, and you can check that out for yourself. Certainly the march over the weekend got a lot of support. There was a counter march, and the counter march was of course an anti-racist march. But I'm wondering this: is it possible to be anti-racist, pro-community, pro-religious freedom, pro-English values, pro the working class people that built a country, and anti-establishment power that benefits from division and uses that division to turn people of different religious and cultural identities against one another? Let's have a look at this story together. Are people allowed to be patriotic? Are people allowed to be nationalistic? Are people allowed to be proud to be British or American or Pakistani or French? Or do you think that one of the projects of globalism is to create a kind of sense of disorientation when it comes to national and cultural identity? If it's important to preserve the identity of Japanese people or Swahili people or people in Iceland or in various communities across nations, wherever you go in the world, do English people have a right to preserve and conserve their identity? And is there a way of doing that that doesn't necessarily involve invective, vitriol and hatred? Tommy Robinson has long been a controversial figure in this country, emerging out of Luton with all of its challenges, which I suppose come from, like, there's a strong Muslim community there. By Tommy Robinson's testimony, there were grooming gangs and there were sort of drug dealing affiliated Pakistani derived gangs there, and it seems like it was a pretty fraught place to grow up. That's Tommy Robinson's take on that. My personal feeling is that, and I felt this for a long while, it's one of the issues that I've sort of paid attention to long before I got into this space, is that if there was ever a way that Muslim communities living in this country and indigenous, whether white or black, communities in this country were able to get along locally, communally and peacefully, we would have an incredible resource and force to oppose establishment power. I say that aside from, adjacent yet tangential issues like grooming gangs, which is obviously disgusting and appalling, drug dealing, which is plainly illegal, and race-based violence. So, these are all crimes and issues for which we already have legislation. This is Tommy Robinson's video from that day. Have a look.
What a feeling. hated man in Britain. All your lies didn't work. And the best thing is, we're unifying the people. Exactly what you wanted to stop. You wanted to divide them. You wanted to separate us. So we look divided. Come on.
Back up, mate, back up!
Come on.
Is he allowed to be a nationalist? Is he allowed to be proud to be British? Is he allowed to stand up for his community and his community's values? And indeed, if you are a person that's approaching this issue from, I suppose, the kind of takes that I've only ever seen in the legacy media, is that inherently hateful? Certainly seems to me something that we are going to have to investigate and better understand, because in order for ordinary people to have a voice, leaders are going to have to come up from those communities. And in order for these movements to succeed, we're going to have to become pretty adept and deft at handling the idea that different cultural identities are going to have to operate together. I wonder where the protection of borders and patriotism ultimately leads. When does the preservation of a culture become the rejection of another culture? When does the right to express yourself freely become the oppression of the rights of others to express themselves freely? And again, I'm talking outside of the criminal issues that I listed a minute ago: grooming, gangs, drug dealing. All those things are sort of public order and legal issues that should be sort of controlled in the ordinary way, regardless of whatever race or group is practicing them. What's this little aspect of the Tommy Robinson story? He's fled the UK. He does get arrested a lot, this dude, doesn't he? He got arrested in Canada. He's getting arrested in the UK. I feel like he went to prison without trial for a little while because of what was it? It was some sort of contempt of court issue or subjudiciary when reporting on a grooming gang, I think in Rochdale. I'm not entirely sure. I should check my facts there. But this is a story right out of the legacy media. Tommy Robinson fled Britain on Sunday night to put himself beyond the reach of authorities in the UK, where he was due to be in court over alleged contempt proceedings, the hearing was told. The far-right activist was arrested on Sunday at the Eurotunnel terminal in Folkestone by police who used counter-terrorism powers, but was released on unconditional bail. Robinson was due to appear in court on Monday, accused of contempt of court for making a documentary, Silence, which I happen to know because I saw him talking about it, is about a case where a migrant kid and some British kids got into some kind of spats, and he feels like the information was managed and manipulated. Pretty interesting story. Again, this is the same when I'm talking about wars that are highly contested and incendiary. Is there a way to hear all sides of a story and bring about some peaceful solution? Or are we going to continue to double down saying, Muslims are all perverts and disgusting, or white English people, or English people, generally working class and of a variety of racial identities, don't have a right to a voice? Going to be some interesting conversations in the coming years, I would imagine, particularly if we are to oppose the centralised interests and authorities that benefit from Muslim communities and non-Muslim communities being in conflict. But that's just what I think. Why don't you let me know what you think in the comments and the chat? Remember, like and subscribe. Give us a follow over on Rumble. We stream this stuff every day. We want you with us, baby. Hey, do you know that we make this content in participation and partnership with some fantastic groups, communities, and endeavors? In this case, it's 1775, who are a Rumble affiliated coffee company. Freedom Coffee, I'm calling it. Have a look.
Hey, this is exciting. We've got a great partner today. It's Rumble. But beyond Rumble, it's Rumble's latest venture. Let me ask you first, are you a Sleepy Joe type character with zero cognitive performance, struggling to muster focus and brain power for basic things like running the United States of America? You've got to stop drinking woke liberal coffee that hates you and your way of life and start your day by drinking Rumble's very own 1775 coffee. This is going to be the best tasting coffee you've ever had. Seriously good, ethically sourced from a family farm in the high altitude mountains of Bolivia. Not in the Bolivian lowlands, run not by a family but by a single man still living with a pet. No, instead of waking up and drinking your big corporation-owned woke ideology coffee that's probably making you sick from the pesticides it's sprayed with, try Rumble's 1775 revolutionary coffee. Support freedom of speech. Build a parallel economy that actually values you and loves you. My favourite? It's dark, of course. I've always found the lure of the dark irresistible. I'm sorry, how can I stay mad at you, but you're just going to have to wait over there for a little while. Level up your morning routine with a 1775 coffee. Sleep all night knowing your hard-earned dollary dues are going towards supporting freedom-loving creators like me on Rumble. Visit 1775coffee.com now, pick up your first bag, use the code BRAND to save 10% on your first order. Oh, come on. Why choose, you know?
Now, the ongoing story and analysis of the assassination attempt on Donald.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you want to see more uncensored content where free speech can flourish, join our live stream. Click the link right here to watch the next video if you want to, or become a member of a growing movement. Download the Rumble app and you'll be informed every time we make a new piece of content. Stay free.